Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all fit and well. Um, I saw a video a couple of days ago from a friend of mine, Andy Ford, and it seems that people on YouTube seem to be doing this vinyl tag. And basically, the questions are there, and it's 20 questions, mainly about vinyl. Let me just alter this camera a little bit. Vinyl that you bought or people bought in 2022, along with a couple of other really quite interesting questions. So I thought I'd read them and do my tack on it. Okay, so it's 20 questions then, and it's all music related, obviously. Um, so the first question is your favourite album from 2022. Well, my favourite vinyl, because it is a tie, actually, my favourite record is Olafur Arnold's, and it's some kind of piece, Piano Reworks. However, it was tied with, I only could get it on CD, unfortunately, and that's Nils Fram, Music for Animals. Fantastic 3 CD thing. So that's my favourite album, along with Neil Fram from last year. Let's take it out the plastic thing so you can probably see it a little bit better. There you go. And basically, it's Olafur Arnold's. He's letting people from around the world, different piano players from around the world, interpret his album from 2020, some kind of piece, but piano reworks. So we've got Heidis Evensen, Hanny Rainey, Dustin O'Halloran, Sophie Hutchins, Lambert, Alpha Mist, T. Stewart, JFDR, who was on the original album, Yaruma, and then finally Magnus Johan. Fabulous, fabulous album. Okay, so that's the first question. The second question, the last band you saw live. Well, for me, that was Sigur Rós, and that was in November in Amsterdam, and it was just absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic. Okay, question number 3 then. It says here, the first album is the best. Well, I had to think about this one, and my favourite from that, when I can find the thing, just bear with me a minute. Where the hell have I put it? Where is she? There she is. I honestly believe that John Armatrading's first album is her best. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. A lot of people would disagree with me, but I do believe that this is her finest album, her first one from 1972, and it's Whatever's For Us. Beautiful, beautiful album. So that's question number 3 answered then. Question number 4, a hat trick showing vinyl, CD and cassette. Oh, now I had to really stretch around to get this one, but it's a Cocteau thing that I've got, and it's Evangeline. So there's the cassette of it, and you get on the cassette just 2 tracks, Evangeline and Mud and Dark. There we are. The CD is that there. There we go. And on this occasion, you get an extra track. So you get Summer Blink on here as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, actually. There we go. That's it there. Really nice. That's the CD. And the wonderful vinyl then is that one there. So it's the same track listing as this CD, but it sounds fabulous. It really, really does. So that's question number 4 then. Question number 5. Ooh, this was a good one as well. An album that starts with and ends with the same letter in the title of the album. I really had to think about this one. And ironically, I was only playing it actually early today. And it's this beautiful album by Patrick Johansson, and it's called Suddenly We Looked Like Giants. So it's the letter S. And this is just absolutely gorgeous as well. Pressed on 45, so it sounds great. But it does start with an S and it ends with an S. So there we are. Suddenly We Looked Like Giants. A lot of people didn't get that one, actually. The next one then. Someone born in the same year as you, a musician. There's quite a few. There's quite a few. And I'll name a few. I was born in 1958. So was Kate Bush, Mick Karn, Toyah, Fish, Stuart Adamson, R.I.P., Mick Karn, R.I.P., Gary Newman, David Sylvian, Jules Holland, and the Mighty Prince were all born in the same year as I was born. Probably look a lot better than me as well, but there we go. Out of that lot, yeah, it's difficult, but I think it's a tie between David Sylvian and Kate Bush, I think, really. So there we go. So that's question number 6. Number 7, the most listened to album from last year. It was very easy to go to this album because it's an album that came out the previous year. So it's 2020, 2 years previous, that this came out. And I don't know how I missed it, but I missed it. And my goodness, I played this, once I got it, I played this to death. And the thing is called Late Night Final. And the title of the album is A Wonderful Hope. Now this is basically Jay Wilgoose from the wonderful the British Broadcasting Service. And it's his only solo album that he's done, and it's just fantastic. Totally influenced by Tangerine Dream, actually, and the 3 albums that he was influenced before he made this were Rubicon, Phaedra, and what's the other one he was? Encore. He was influenced by those 3 albums, and my goodness, this is great. Really is. So I've nearly worn it out. This is the most played album from last year. This one. So that is then Late Night Final, A Wonderful Hope. There we go. Number, what we on now? Number 8. Most listened to artist. Yeah, it's Niels Frahm. This particular album is Tripping, which came out at the end of 2021. Although it's got 2020 on it, it didn't come out until the end of 2021, actually. But yeah, Niels, it tends to be the one that I've listened to a lot this year again. And it was the lead up to his new album coming out. But he has released a lot of albums last year. I didn't get them all because he's changed from the mighty Erased Tapes now, and he's formed his own record company called Lightner. So he's tended to go back on his old material and release it last year before the new album came out in, when did it come out? October. It was Music for Animals. Great stuff. So yeah, Nilsford. Number 9. An Australian artist or band that you really like. Well, I really like this girl. Really like this girl. And this is Hatchie, a young Australian artist. This is her first album from 2019. Great artist. Great singer. Very influenced by the Cocteau Twins, actually. And she's not afraid to say that neither. Let me show you a better picture of her. There she is. Really great album. Beautiful clear vinyl as well, just to top it off. Lovely. So yeah, Australian artist. There are many, of course, but I thought I'd show you someone relatively new for you. So there we are. Hatchie is the name of the girl, and this is her first album called Keepsake. There we go. What we got next then? Number 10, a record people would be surprised that you bought last year. I was surprised with myself, actually, because it's a bit of a link, really. A friend of mine introduced me to a band called Tedeschi Trucks a couple of years ago, and he bought me a triple live album, which is fantastic. He didn't think I was going to like it, but I do. I love it. And it transpires that in 2000, I think it was 21, while in lockdown, that Tedeschi Trucks released a live version of the whole of this, which is Derek and the Dominoes, Layla. Obviously, it's Southern rock stuff, or that sort of mould. So on the back of me liking Tedeschi Trucks, I thought I'd buy this because they'd done it all. I have to say, I've not heard any of their versions of the songs. So I thought, right, I'll take a plunge because I've not seen that album on vinyl, their interpretation of it. So I thought I'd go for this. No, I'm sorry. It just doesn't resonate with me. Okay, I know everybody knows Layla, you know. The rest of it, though, although I do like, Duane Allman's on here. Great guitar player, you know. But no, I'm sorry. It's really not connected with me, this one. And I did post it when I first got it, and people were surprised because it's on this yellow vinyl. Lovely thing, you know. But no, I'm sorry. I have given it a few goes because I thought, right, it must be good. And a lot of people do love this album, but no, it doesn't connect with me at all, unfortunately. So there we are. I bought this last year, and no, I'm sorry. No. Surprising, but yeah, and people were surprised when I bought this. So I may end up giving this away to somebody. So that's what was that then? Number 10, wasn't it? An artist band you are complete with vinyl. Well, I'm not going to show you it, but I've got every vinyl recording of Sigur Rós, my favourite band. So, and that's not surprising to a lot of people, I don't think. But yes, I have. A great run of 3 albums. Well, I mean, most of the stuff that I like, um, for me personally, they've, they might have had a weak album somewhere along the career path, but most of the stuff that I like, I really, really like, But I thought I'd pick an unusual choice because one album, which I'll show you first, always it's the one that people always remember them from, But I thought they had a really, really good run of vinyls, and after the third one, I think they went a little bit. I've got a couple after the third one I'm going to show, but they're not as good. And I'm talking about Supertramp and their run of albums. And the first run, I thought the first brilliant, brilliant album is this one. Who's not got this? I don't know anybody that's not got this. Kind of the Century. Fabulous album. And then they brought out my favourite, which is Crisis. What Crisis? And then the third one that they had, I thought was great as well. Even in the Quietest Moments. Great, great album. The one after this then was Breakfast in America, and sorry, it didn't connect with me at all. So these 3 albums for me personally are a great run of albums that they had, and they have never bettered them, in my opinion. So there's my favourite run of 3 then. Quite an interesting question, that one. An 80s soundtrack. Well, there's so many. And I would go with, Blade Runner, really. Fabulous, fabulous soundtrack by the sadly lost Vangelis. I have got it, but there's so many others, and it's probably, that's an album that probably people will go for in that particular thing, an 80s soundtrack, because it's great. So that was question 13 then. Blade Runner for me. 14 then. We lost them in 2021. Oh my goodness. I mean, where do you start? It was awful. The amount of great artists that we lost last year, Terry Hall was a big, that was a shock for me, that one, but Vangelis, Ronnie Spector, Alan White, those are the ones that spring to mind straight away, I can look, there's, as you know, there's loads more. But I would, I mean, for me, I think, yeah, Vangelis and Terry Hall for me last year were great, great losses. Alan White as well. Alan White had been ill for a long time, so I don't think that was unexpected, really, in a way. Ronnie Spector was another one. That was a bit of a shock, really. Great voice. Vangelis, of course, But the big shock was Terry Hall, I think. Okay, the next one is a little bit like one of the previous questions. A disappointing buy you made last year. Well, there's yeah, this is by far the most disappointed. I'd never heard it. I was very tempted when I was a young lad to buy this album, but by the time this came out, I'd already joined the army, so I never did. And it's always been in the back of my mind. Right, if I ever see this, I'm for a good price, I'll get this, So I got this record home, and it's T-Rex. Mark Bolan is calling himself Mark Bolan and T-Rex for this occasion. And it's called Zinc Alloy and the Riders and the Hidden Riders of Tomorrow, a cream cage in August. It is truly and utterly awful. He went down the tubes with this. You know, the previous album, Tanks, is probably my favourite T-Rex album. But this is just absolutely awful. Really, really is. Lots of tracks on the album, bonkers titles. And I thought, I'm going to like this, you know. No, definitely disappointed with this. Luckily, I didn't pay that much money for it, you know. And, you know, there was a few after this, obviously, you know. I won't be going anywhere near them. I don't know what they're like. So if there's anybody watching that wants to give me some recommendations, but I can't listen to this. I listened to it once and I thought, what the hell is this? It is just all over the place. Awful, awful, awful. Oh. So sorry, any T-Rex fans out there. Oh, right, what we got here? A non-vinyl by, so a CD box set type thing. Well, yeah, there's only one for me last year, and that is this. This is the Bebop Deluxe Live in the Air Age. How many bloody discs is this? It's massive. It's 15 discs. What a box set! It's probably one of my favourite box sets. This came out last year. Wonderful, wonderful thing. You know, those people that are aware of Bebop Deluxe, you know, the album came out in 1977, and it should have been a double album. Really, it came out as a single, and then there was a run of a 12-inch single with it and a 7-inch single of it. But it was by far nowhere near the full concert. And what you get here is complete concerts, the complete show without any overdubs or anything like that. So the disc one is the original album, right? And then you've got the concerts. So you've got Leicester, Leeds Grand, 2 shows actually, one on the 13th of Feb, one on the 14th of Feb in 77. And then you've got London, Hammersmith Odeon, the 25th of March 77. And then another one on the 26th of March. And then you've got Bristol on the 27th of March. And then finally, you've got Bournemouth Winter Gardens on the 28th of March. Complete concerts, and they are extraordinary. Absolutely brilliant. I can't recommend this enough. Really great. I will show you the package. It's massive. There's all sorts of books and stickers and posters and God knows what else in it. But this is a great thing. Great thing to have. So that's my non-vinyl thing then. You found a Grail. Well, I was sent a Grail actually, and it was, I couldn't believe it when I got it. And I didn't know the story because there was another question as well about a story in a vinyl. So I'll give you the story of this actually. This is Tubular Bells, and it is a picture disc. I don't know if you can see it very well. I'll just show you this. Fabulous. Simon Ball sent me this. There we are. This is a Grail. It really is. And the reason why it's a Grail is I had no idea about this at all. And Simon very kindly sent me it as a Christmas present. It wasn't in good nick, and I got it cleaned, and it sounds absolutely amazing now. However, I went onto the Virgin site, and someone said, "Oh, have you played the whole thing yet?" And I went, "No, I'm just playing the first side, you know." And effectively, they said, "Play it to the end of the second side and tell us if you hear something at the end of it." And what you hear at the end of this particular version is Tom Newman and Mike Oldfield flying gliders in the Abbey Road Studios in London. It is mad. Ironically, someone went on and said, "Look, okay, the version that you've got, there was only 25,000 of these made worldwide. There was only 2,500 of these with the glider thing at the end. So this is a grail. It really is. I've got so many different versions of this album, which is a classic, as we all know. But this is somewhat special. And now it's been cleaned up. Sounds great. So that is my grail from last year. Fabulous, fabulous thing. Show an album which is a spaced theme album with a sleeve or a song. Well, there's only one for me. Bang! Tangerine Dream Sight. It's all about space. Look at that cover. It's a double album. It is a very strange album when you consider the other stuff that they've done. But this was the last one. No, sorry, I'm telling you a lie. It wasn't the last one before they went to Virgin. That was Atom. Atom came after this. But this is a double album in 4 movements. So you've got The Birth of Liquid Pelagius, Nebulous Dawn, Origins and Supernatural Possibilities, and the title track, Sight, which is Time, actually, is the last side. And this is the classic lineup now. So we've got Chris Frank, Edgar Fruser, and Peter Baumann on here. Absolutely brilliant. So that's my spaced themed album. Number 19. So we're nearly getting there, actually. Show a vinyl which was bought as a present. That was bought for me as a Christmas present, and believe me, it is. I didn't know what to expect. This is just a fabulous, fabulous album. Alan Cawthorne, Captain Cawthorne, bought me this, and you know, everybody's heard "Move On Up," you know, but I didn't realise how political and social this album is. This is up there with What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. That's how good this is. There's a brilliant track called Don't Worry, If There's a Hell Below, We're All Going to Go, and that's the first track on the album. It is fabulous, absolutely fabulous. What a voice Curtis had, you know. Absolutely brilliant album, this one. The only thing I would say is he lists the musicians on here, but you know, there's more, because there's orchestras and everything, choirs and all sorts on here, you know. It's a beautiful, beautiful album. It just flows beautifully. It's very much like I said, Marvin's What's Going On, but a year earlier, actually. What's Going On came out in 71. This came out at the end of 1970, you know, so perhaps Marvin was listening to Curtis, because this is his first album, because he was still part of the Impressions, the vocal group Impressions. So there we go. So thank you very much, Captain Cawthorne. This is a brilliant, brilliant album. The last question then. is show an album from 1973. I don't know who came up with that, but 1973 just happens to be my favourite year of popular music. And I'll show you this one. The beloved John Martyn, Solid Air. Beautiful. Okay. This should be in everybody's collection. So there we are, just over the half an hour. Okay, have a fantastic day then. This is really good. It's quite interesting, this. So hopefully some of my choices you quite like, some of them you might not. I don't know, but it's a very interesting set of questions. So there we are. I'll leave it there. So cheers and see you the next time. Bye bye.